Agenda, meeting of the Scituate Board of Health, Monday, November 27th, Selectmen Chamber, Town Hall, 6 p.m. Meeting called to order, accept of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda. Board of Health meetings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, schedule items. Discuss and vote septic system design hearing, 7 Milton EET Inc., representing homeowners and request for installation of septic system requiring local upgrades and variances. You want to step up and warm that seat now and state your name?
My name is Robert Crawford. I'm representing the owner. I'm the engineer that prepared the plan.
Just before Bob starts, the 7 Milton Street, my dad is a property manager there, but I don't think that would have any basis on my decision, but I would bring it forward and seeing that there's no butters or anything. I'm really not worried about it. If you
Okay.
feel that's okay, from what I've seen coming before this week, it's a pretty standard repair. So as long as you're okay with that, I would recuse myself if so or not.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, enough said then, Bob. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay, no problem. The project consists of replacing the existing failed cesspool, which is overflowing on the ground, with a 1,000-gallon septic tank, which is 500 gallons less than Title V requires. There's very limited space, so a smaller tank fits in better, and it satisfies the requirement based on the gallonage per bedroom. And the leaching portion of the system consists of a bed of chambers, and that we're asking for a 24.8% reduction in the required size due to, again, limited space. The lot itself is on the northerly side of Milton Street between River Street and the ocean, and lies in a FEMA flood hazard zone, elevation 13. The entire lot is below elevation 13. Read the variances that are requested. The first one is from paragraph 15.102, deep observation hole test. Minimum of 2 deep observation hole tests shall be performed at every proposed disposal area. We're asking for relief to 1. The reason for that is, again, limited area. We dug 1 test hole in the area of the system. We started out by trying to dig closer to the cesspool, but there's some kind of a leaching trench or something that we hit to the west of where we ended up digging the hole. And septic water came into the hole where we had started, so we couldn't do a perk test there, obviously, if it was filling up with water. The second variance is paragraph 15.23. Septic tanks, as I mentioned, we're asking for relief from 1,500 gallons to 1,000 gallons. And the third variance consists of 3 actual variances, depending upon how you look at it, from the contents of local upgrade approval, paragraph 15.405, reduction in the 10-foot minimum setback for a soil absorption system to a property line to 3 feet minimum on the west side and 5 feet minimum on the northerly side. Reduction in the 10-foot minimum setback for a septic tank to the same 2 property lines from 3 feet and 5 feet. The same as the, I read that wrong. We're not asking for relief from the westerly property line for the leaching area. I guess that is, it's 3 feet on the easterly side, not the westerly side. The second setback variance is reduction in the 10-foot minimum setback for a soil absorption system to a slab foundation to 6.75 feet. And the last one is the 24.8% reduction in the required leaching area. design requirements. Try to answer any questions you have. Yep,
Single family.
it's it's a four-bedroom house. There's 3 more copies of the plan here. You want to look at one, Russ? This is marked up as the,
Yeah.
Will you put a couple of the lot line stakes in, just so?
I think that's a note on the plan, that the property line should be staked by land surveyor.
I was gonna say just a couple of range lines,
Yeah,
just so the contractor stays on his side. Not much you can do there, it's a small lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, note 9, property lines to be staked out by registered. Yep, the only thing that I had sent were a couple of small administrative items, which
I took
I
care of.
believe are taken care of in the revised plan, so I'll just have to review those quickly, but otherwise, I'll have no concerns.
No, I don't, no.
Status quo. All right, move to approve the septic, move to make a motion to approve the septic repair payment for following grounds as requested. Shall we list them all, Jen?
Please.
Number 1, request to use 1 deep hole in the SAS instead of the required 2 holes. 2, use of a new 1,000-gallon monolithic tank instead of the required 1,500-gallon tank. 3, reduction in the setback between the SAS and the property line from required 10 feet to 25 feet. 4, reduction in the setback between the tank and property line from required 10 feet to 25 feet. 5, reduction in the setback between the SAS and slab foundation from required 10 feet to approximately 6 3/4 feet. And 6, reduction in the SAS size by 24.8%. Pending engineer satisfactory revisions to the plan, as long as Jen is happy. That is my motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
I might point out that Conservation has approved the plan subject to your approval, so
we're all approved.
we're happy
Oh,
with it.
great.
So-
You're
Yes.
rolling.
Yeah, they approved it on November 20th.
Yeah.
All right. New business, director's report.
It's that time already, huh?
Unless you want to sketch.
Schedule anything else for
Need some time to prepare?
Just the flip of a page. All right, here we go. So just a quick update on our flu clinics. Eileen, the public health nurse, gave 17 flu shots on November 16th and an additional 20 shots on November 18th. She has approximately 15 doses remaining. So folks can come in during her office hours on Wednesday mornings and Thursday mornings to get a flu shot if they still need one. Permitting, an ever ongoing endeavor in our office. As I think I mentioned before, the funeral director applications are complete. We're preparing to send out the permits tomorrow. The tobacco permit applications are also complete, so we are working on getting those out. We typically send those to the establishment in conjunction with the food permits, so that we're sending them 1 package instead of 2. Pump and haul, we have 8 complete packages, and rubbish, we have 5. Both of those were due last week, so we have several that are outstanding. Joan has been extremely diligent in following up with people, reminding people, identifying what was still needed. So hopefully folks can submit outstanding items soon. Installers and inspectors, they come in and out on a rolling basis. Typically, they wait sometimes until they have their first job. But with that said, we've received 8 inspector packages and 16 installers, so we're issuing them as they come in and are complete. So hopefully we can get those out within the next week or so. Food, we have 5 packages that have not been received at all. No communication despite follow-up and reminders provided by Joan, so all are required to pay a late fee at this point. And then of those submitted, we have 21 incomplete packages. So almost a quarter of the packages that we sent out in October are still incomplete, despite numerous attempts, primarily by Joan, to get outstanding items. So at this point, you know, there's gonna be an email going out saying, you know, if we don't have it soon, we can't guarantee your permit. 'Cause it's been an awful lot of follow-up to try to get what we need.
And do they get in with a late fee?
The
Because
food
they're
establishments, we have not been doing that. I will probably recommend as I come before you, for 2018 fees, that we're very clear in what the fees are associated with, so that if they are incomplete, I mean, our cover letter says incomplete. We've been pretty generous with folks up to this point. But I think for 2018, I would like for, you know, to put before you a fee schedule that is a little more detailed than what we currently have in place, so it's clear.
Oh, really? Got like a certificate that goes up on the wall, is that what they get? So
Yeah.
that runs from January 1 to
End of
December
December.
31st.
Yep.
And they come in and pay the fee, and you make sure everything's in order, which is clerical work. What's the normal turnaround on something like that? Is it a week, 2 weeks? I mean, should they, I mean, you brought these out in October.
Right, so what we do
I mean,
is,
if they came in on the last hour of New Year's Eve, I mean, that's not fair to the office to just throw.
to put a permit together,
Right,
right?
right.
So
So I mean, how does that work? Do
they can't, if they don't have a permit, they cannot open on January 1 or
Legally they
whatever.
can't open.
Legally, they can't open, and we would notify the police department that they don't have a food permit and cannot open. And the police department would help enforce closure until they have a permit in place. What we do for the establishments and for each, you know, we provide a cover letter documenting what's required, not just for food, but for the other items as well. But because food is very individualized for each establishment, we not only provide our standard cover letter, which has some minor tweaks, but all the requirements are the same, the food code hasn't changed. We create a checklist, and we ourselves go through the checklist, individualized for each establishment, and we check off how many seats you have, whether you're retail or, you know, serving establishment. We check off for them whether you have to give us serve safe, allergen, grease trap questionnaire, and choke certification. So each establishment gets its own individualized checklist. And they just have to send back what we provide to them.
With a check.
With a check,
Right.
yes, with a check. And we write out for them, we calculate their food permit fee, we put it on the bottom of the checklist so they know exactly how much and to make the check payable to town of Situate.
So in
So I
that
don't know
whole
what else
thing,
to
is
do
it like a
different.
drop dead date that says?
November 13th.
Or November 13th?
Mhm.
Oh, so.
We sent them out the middle of October, we gave them 1 month.
I got
So
you.
we gave them a month to allow us 5 weeks. And our feeling is we give them 1 month to do one package. Some folks have 2 or 3, but in general, you know,
Right.
one.
You have a month and a
And
half
we
to
have,
do.
we have
overtime.
5 weeks to do 94.
Right. So it's basically like you said, and I guess I'm just asking the questions, I already know the answer. At some point, it comes down to the point that we may not get to it for the sheer fact of volume.
Right.
Then you've had X amount of time, so don't scream at us because you're coming in on the day after Christmas. Here's my paperwork.
That's right, that's right. And especially with, you know, Joan now and Sue before her, both reminded each individual establishment in advance of the deadline to save them the late fee. You know, notified each one, reminding them, and has subsequently followed up after the deadline looking for pieces. So, you know, we've done everything we can to facilitate getting the information we need to issue their permits. So, and I'm not sure what, you know, what we could do different or, you know, in addition. But it's a little discouraging that, you know, we have 26 out of 94 that we're still chasing down.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder, I mean, is that like
So.
status quo, did the same thing happen in previous years? I mean, you're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, it's been consistent.
It's been consistent, so it's just the way they do things. So what do we think, they all come in another week or two, and the bulk will come in, oop, better get this.
You hope.
I can only hope.
Yeah,
I can only hope. So,
I'm sure the business owners have their cycle, and that's the way they've always done it.
it's.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
whether the office likes it or not, it's just the way it has been done. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I shouldn't smirk when I say that, it just kind of,
And some folks are new at it, but interestingly enough, it's generally the new folks that are, quick to respond and, because they have questions. So we walk them through their questions and they meet the deadline.
Right.
That's the other thing with permitting.
after 20 years of business, it's like, I thought I just did this. Another year went by, flip the calendar. I
That's
get
right.
it,
That's right.
I get
So-
it. It's,
So, and the other thing that we're still trying to track down as part of permitting are outstanding reinspection fees. Because any outstanding fees, any unpaid bills, no payment,
shouldn't get your
no
payment.
permits, right? So, and some of these we've been waiting for a couple of months. So we're trying to get all the pieces together so that folks can have their permits in plenty of time. And we're not scrambling.
That's the way it should be. You start the year off with a clean slate, and everything's paid up and done, and we're even, and get back to business.
So hopefully within the next week with the additional follow-up that Joan's done over the last several days, well, pre-Thanksgiving last several days, that, we can get folks squared away. But tobacco is good.
Thank you for explaining
Yeah, of course.
that in detail.
Yeah, of course. The other items, budgeting season has begun, so I call it a full season because it started a couple of weeks ago and it will go through Springtown meeting, so it really is a season. So we're working on, our budget numbers, our challenges, describing our accomplishments as a department and as board. So there's certainly a lot to talk about, and it'll hopefully all get done by Friday, like it's supposed to. So we're working on the budget for next year. We're also managing our existing items. So I'll give you kind of the numbers rundown I do every time. We have 9 housing cases unchanged since the last time we met. 3 nuisance cases, down 1, based on site visit today. 5 environmental releases that we're tracking, following up on, also unchanged. Septic system O&M field failures, we're still following up on 2. O&M maintenance contracts, we are down to 7. So we have, you might have seen, if you looked at your email today, I sent a whole host of them out today. So we were down a bunch, we've added a few, but overall we're down 2, which is nice. Failures and conditional pass, we are at 16, which is 2 less than the last time we met. Of those, 2 have approved plans, and 3 have plans in the review process. So of the 16, there are 5 hopefully moving their way through the process. So some good progress there. Food, other than permitting, we have no new information or additional applicants for the Winters Farmers Market that is slated to begin in January. I think we had 2 inquiries,
Yeah.
I think 2 inquiries to date, no true applications yet. Inspection update between November 1st and November 17th, there were 27 food inspections conducted. Critical violations included food contact surfaces dirty, dish and glass washer not sanitizing, ice machine dirty, no sanitizer being used, food not being held at proper temperatures, coolers not being maintained at proper temperatures, expired dry goods, no soap, towels, and hand sink not being used, and food not dated or labeled. So kind of the consistent group of items that you hear me mention periodically as we meet. All re-inspections have been conducted and all violations corrected. So looking forward to starting fresh in 2018 like you had mentioned. And that's what I've got.
All right. Old business, discuss required septic system connection, non-compliance for failure. Septic system 490 Hadley Road.
So we had agreed at the meeting on October 30th for me to do some additional research, following the site visit that you, Doug, had conducted. I did. The house had in fact been foreclosed on. There are now 3 points of contact for the property. And I've been in communication with the management company responsible for maintaining and ultimately helping to prepare the house for sale. And I provided that person with the information necessary to connect the house to town sewer, and then abandon the septic system. Interestingly enough, just, I think it was this afternoon, a gentleman from that same company came in to further understand how to get the ball rolling. I provided him with our septic system abandonment policy, which gives that walkthrough of steps. How do you get a permit? How do you get a certificate of compliance? And then that certificate of compliance leading to the enforcement action being addressed and closing out with us. I also provided him with the information that the sewer betterment had already been paid, because they're on the Musquashkett Pond area. So they're part of the betterment process, which makes permitting through the sewer department hopefully even easier for them. So I directed them to the sewer division so that they could get the permitting process started on that end. That's the first step. So it seems like they're actively engaged, asking all the right questions, and hopefully we will have a failed system since 1999 off the books and on town sewer.
And nobody's in the house.
So nobody's in the house, right. It is.
And they have no intention of putting anybody in the house until they sell it.
Correct. And
So there's no need to condemn the house or anything like that?
No. My letter dated November 6th, to them, the bank, the loan servicing company, and CCing this management company. As part of that, I said, please let this letter further document that the status of the septic system also confirms the dwelling is not conducive to occupancy at this time. The dwelling is required to be connected to the municipal sewer system and septic system abandoned in accordance with the state environmental code prior to occupancy.
Right.
So we're on record indicating that it must remain vacant until connected.
Yeah, you hate to, condemn it. It just looks worse. It's not good to be in the title. Agreed.
So I think they're
They're on board.
engaged, right?
Right. Fair enough.
And that's the update.
All right. Other business, administration invoice approval.
All right, a few of those. Get your pens ready.
Ready.
Another good question.
Perk test.
Yeah, septic is still going strong, very strong. Yep, everybody's trying to beat the weather.
Also a busy man.
Sure is.
Clint Watson's still around.
He is.
Nice guy.
He is very nice.
Professional nice.
Yes, indeed.
And that's it?
That's what we've got.
All right. Make a motion motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?